from Odessa.Africa. Today I am all up in Africa, Africans, African culture, African parenting, upbringings, business, because we are out here as African leaders who are looking to make a difference in the global market and find that the very skills that the global market is looking for in leadership are the very skills we've often had our hands beaten or tapped or spanked for exhibiting. So I'm going to talk about upbringing and socialization, all of that later, but to start off with, please understand your certificates will not get you into leadership, but there is something that will. There are other skills that are more, let me check my languaging before people come after me. They are more important when it comes to leadership. I'd written an article about leadership, and I think I'd written the 10 things that I'd learned about leadership. I blogged about that 2-3 years ago. And what I noted in that article, and I'm going to share it with you guys, I'm going to share the link with you guys, is that the higher up you go, the less your technical know-how is material. When you start off, you need to show that you have at least a foundational grounding, right? You've got the discipline, you've got the understanding of the area in which you're in. That's the first thing that really people want to look for. So you will hear your certificates come up at the entry level. People want to see, do you even have a concept of this professional field that you want to get into? Do you have an understanding? And so they'll be like, where's your degree? Show me your diploma. That is key then. And as you go up, maybe you're getting into supervisory position, more and more your work-related skills are really key, right? So then people will want to know that not only do you have the theory of your discipline, of your area, of your profession, but you also have had experience with it, right? So they want to know if you have on-the-job skills in that area. As you're climbing up from entry level and getting into supervisory, etc. And this may take you up to a point when you're getting into mid-management. But from mid-management upwards, I'm talking about people looking to lead organizations, whether your own or you're working for another organization. It will not be your certificates that gets you there. I actually have a book. Do I have my book here? I've been showing this book now and then to you guys. It says, what got you here does not get you there. And Marshall Goldsmith, he's one of the world's most renowned coaching gurus, gives you 10 things that we tend to do that sabotage our leadership. 20 things that we tend to do that sabotage our leadership. I'm not even talking about these today. I am going to talk to you about something else that is very specific to us as Africans. Now, some of these may be relevant to other contexts, but you guys know that my mission is to equip 100 million African leaders for global domination. I mean, I am actually going for Africa leading the world's economy and African leaders in strategic positions of leadership and influence. But that is not going to happen if we do not tackle these. I read a World Economic Forum article. It was a September 2019 article, and it said, it was asking about the skills, the top 5 skills that employers are looking for in Africa. And I want to say it's not even just for, it's not just for employers. This is also for what the African marketplace is looking for if you have a business that you're running as well. I will go so far as to say that this is not just for people looking to get a job, but very pertinent to those that are looking to get into senior, topmost positions in leadership. Hi, Luquara. Hey, Maureen. Welcome. House of Nature. Hello. Doreen. Moshe. Nice. Miss Diplomat. Nawabu. Miola. Chua. Ruth. Second Chance Attire. I'm just loving it. I just love the name of your store. Second Chance. Like, it had the one chance. Give it another. That's what you're selling. Own your brand. So these 5 skills that they spoke about, and I've added 2 more, which is why my little post spoke about the 7 skills that actually will get you into leadership and not your certificates. They relate more to how you think, how you conduct yourself, and therein is the secret, ladies and gentlemen. Wicca, welcome. This is the secret. The higher up you go, it's less about what you know. It is assumed if you made it to entry level, you got into supervisory, you're out here in mid-management, if you're looking to get into senior levels in organizations or in a business, the higher up you go, it's not about your certificates. It's not about your technical know-how. It is good that you have the certification and the technical know-how so that nobody can run anything by you, so that when it comes to troubleshooting, you're not floundering around, oh, no. You know your field very well. You've experienced it and you've been working for 5, 10, 15, 20 years in it. You know the trends, you know the markets, all the rest of that. That is good. Well, what people are looking for is whether you have the mindset and the interpersonal relations and the fortitude of character that is required to be a leader in volatile, uncertain, and completely unpredictable environments. And many a times, these are the kind of environments we're in Africa. And I mentioned, just as we started this, that our culture, our upbringing, people, our socialization often shoots us in the foot, because these 7 skills that I'm about to share right now, when I'm done with them, you will see how the African leader, the average African leader, okay, so if you're an exception, I mean, you're happy, I'm happy for you to come in the comments, but if you're an exception, please count yourself blessed. But an African leader, especially market leader, right? We're talking about, no offense to government, we're not talking about government where, we're following a certain monolithic culture that's been there for a while and we're perpetuating. I'm talking about when an African leader signs up for a job, even if you're doing it in your city, in your country, your city, your country is already a global context. There's no such thing as I am not going out there, so I don't need to be that way. You need to be at that level right now, exactly where you are, because people have choices. People can get on the internet, buy things from China. Let me leave the Chinese alone, okay? Because I was just about to go off and Chinese can come home and it's not just about the Chinese. The entire world is globalized, even if you never leave your context. So you need to understand what it takes to be competitive at a global context. You guys by now are like, okay, Modessa, what are that 7? What are that 7? If it's not my certificates, I'm still paying loans, Modessa, and you're telling me it's not the certificates? Calm yourself down. No, it is not the certificates. Not at senior leadership level. People are not looking for technical know-how. No, they are not. They are assuming you have that. What will get you there, am I holding it upside down? Is not what got you here. And buckle down. You guys should actually get this book. What you hear won't get you there by Marshall Goldsmith. Do get this book. I actually got it secondhand. Like I didn't even buy a new copy a couple of years ago. Amazing. All right. I'm going to start with one of my own. And then I'll give you the World Economic Forum, the 5 that they put out, and then I will end with another one of my own. Pumla, welcome. Miss Noma, welcome. Mary Macau, Kenny Jeffrey, Ojung Longder. Guys, I hope I'm not butchering your names. Gideon out of Mwita, Abdullahi Salem. Let's go. First thing is, and I want to put this out to you, stewardship. And I know ownership is a subset of that, but I'm going to put them together. Stewardship and ownership mentality. Many a times when we're engaged in a context, we are told this belongs to someone. You will do this and you do it according to, whatever criteria you've been given. You will do it according to the steps you've been taught. But at the end of the day, this belongs to that person. And many a times, this is the thought that they are the owners in an African context. And they're those that work for the owners. Somebody tell me the truth here, okay? Don't make me seem like an African who is out of touch with what's really on the ground, because this has been a message I've been talking about for decades. There is this mentality that there's the owner, and I am just working for the owner. This belongs to them. They make decisions. Their situations. I remember this incident. My Lord, my God. I remember somebody's brother died because his car fell into a ditch. Water was coming in, but people were afraid of the consequences of breaking that window, breaking that car to let him out. And he was talking to them, asking them, and to the point where he drowned because they were afraid of the consequences, the repercussions, the ramifications of breaking somebody's property to get somebody out. True story, guys. Okay? So I would like to point out that having a stewardship and ownership meaning that even if it's not mine, right? I work in this organization. Let me think like the person who does own it. Let me think to, to steward things, to manage things well. Let me think to make sure that we have the right people in the right positions to be able to drive this business. Let me think about where they would like this business to be in a couple of years' time so that I can make sure that I get it there. But a lot of the mentality that we have, somebody's going to shoot me today, but look, I'm ready for you guys. This is my message. The mentality often is, look, I just got hired here, right? So I'm going to do what I need to do. People don't even pay me enough. You don't even pay me what I'm worth. I will do what I need to do. If it is not in my job description, if it is not something that you told me to do, especially now, I'm talking about senior leadership here. I'm not talking about little child's play at entry level. No offense to anybody who's at entry level. You will get there. So it is good that you're here now to hear this right now. Especially when, for instance, the owner of the business, or maybe the CEO, the managing director, the executive director, whatever the position is called, leaves and puts somebody else as in an acting position. The rest will be like, all right, let's see how you do. No ownership mentality. It wasn't in my job description. You didn't ask me to do it. And so all the best. And things could fall apart when you are on duty. Things are falling apart when you are there. And listen, something else that I'm going to share here from the World Economic Forum article. You don't even have to be in the position. It's the fact that you're in the organization that you should have this mindset of, I am going to steward this. I am going to work with it. I'm going to manage it as if I own it, even though I know that I do not. And listen, even as the owner of your own business, as the owner of your own nonprofit, as the owner of your own enterprise, whatever it is, I want you to have this stewardship mentality that says, I know I have this for a while, and I am going to do the best I can with it, leave it better than I found it. Because truth is, I want things to continue in my posterity. Whether posterity means I've left the organization, whether I've bequeathed it to another person, whether somebody else has succeeded me. It's a good thing as a leader to leave a successful setup for your successor. It is not a bad thing to enter leadership thinking that I'm actually going to leave one day. I better start scouting around. Who do I have here, right? That can succeed me? Who do I have here that I can mentor, that I can move with? I am a steward for a time. We are on earth as stewards for a time. Even your life is not your own. It belongs to God. And so everything you're doing it with a stewardship mentality, yet you're going to have an ownership mentality to say, if I were the owner, what would I want done with this situation right now? How would I want this to go? With this challenge that just came up, if I were the owner, how would I solve it? And that kind of mindset is so key when you are in leadership. This is what the market is looking for, whether it is employers looking for leaders or it is you in your business and people engaging with you in business. They're looking for you to steward what you have and to have an ownership mentality to move things along. And then now I'm going to go into the World Economic Forum skills that employers are looking for. And I want to say it's not just for people who are starting out, but especially so in leadership. And they use this acronym Agile. The first one is adaptable skills. Now let me quote this. Consistently deliver results come rain or shine. That's what they describe being adaptable. That regardless of whether the winds are favorable or they are not, you're going to deliver results. You're going to deliver results with less information than you would be comfortable to make decision on. You're going to deliver results with less than favorable resources. You're going to deliver results whatever it takes, which means you're forever thinking creatively. You're forever thinking of solutions. But now, what I mentioned about our upbringing, gosh, should I bring it in now? Is that we're often told, you do this. I'm literally talking about parenting. I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about extended family. I'm talking about the society we grew up in. You come here, do this. If you went ahead and you did anything else different from that, smack in the head or knock on the forehead. Who told you to do that? I didn't send you to do that. Or if by any reason you do something at times, guys, I'm not, I'm really overgeneralizing. It's not always so. But this is the kind of culture we grew up in where, remember class? Like if you somehow had a different way of approaching what the teacher was teaching than what was on the curriculum, what was on the syllabus that they were currently teaching you, they'd be like, who? No, that is not so. Where did you get that from? I am the teacher here, blah, blah, blah. Come here, pam, 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 or on your bottom. And so what does that teach a person? Like, all right, you know what? Let me just follow instructions. Let me do what is asked of me. Make very little noise. I understand there is a hierarchy, right? We understand that there's an age hierarchy, there's a gender hierarchy. We understand there is an education hierarchy. We understand there's a financial, economic status hierarchy, social status hierarchy. There be even tribal in some contexts hierarchies. And so people just find where they fit in that. Now, until you got to be the top, you understood I am at the bottom. And that is a thought that you have that we often bring into the marketplace. Oh, I am at the bottom of somebody greater than I. And so they call the shots, they make the decisions, and I will just navigate around them and just do what I need to do and not get myself into trouble. And that is getting us into trouble in the marketplace. Is this speaking to anybody here? Like, I'm even wondering, people, are we here? Abdullah says, competitive at the highest level requires more than just academic certificates. That's right. So adaptability is key. Come rain or shine, you make a plan. Come rain or shine, you become versatile. You look at what needs to be done for you to move things along. Number 2, the G in Agile is growth mindset. Get this. Understand that your current knowledge base is insufficient to take you to the next level to survive and even thrive. Understand that what you know right now, my goodness, guys, this has been one of the greatest epiphanies, one of the greatest... I think one of the things that's given me much peace, you do not have, what you know is not sufficient for where you need to go. It is not. And that's not a bad thing. And often when people hear that, it's as if I am missing something. I am broken. I am not enough. It's not saying that. It's just saying every level requires you to stretch a little bit more. And you must start out already with that appreciation that what I know, that what I'm doing right now is not it. What got me here will not get me there. So not to count myself out, not to think less of myself, not to wait for the real experts to come in. No, it's simply for me to say, oh, what does it take then? What does it take? So I understand, what I know, or even what I know at the beginning of the year is not what I'll need to know at the end of the year. So find out, be in a position where maybe you can predict what's coming up, and you can find ways of exposing yourself. I know a lot of people who get cross-functional exposure in their organizations because they want to learn a little bit more about the business. I know a lot of people that will join professional groups, not to go get another certification, but just be around the kinds of minds and the kind of movers and shakers and the kind of thought leaders in an area so that they can grow. Not all growth comes from certificates. Somebody, please, not all growth you're going to make as a profession, as a professional, as a leader, will come from certificates. There is growth from exposure. There is growth from coaching and mentorship. There is growth from working cross-functionally with other teams in a task force, etc. And you get higher understanding. There's exposure, to people who had been your path that are higher up now in the organization or in another organization somewhere else, and they can show you how it goes. There's growth that comes from understanding the trends and the frameworks and how, this area is developing right now in the wider market. There is growth that you can get in that way. And it says, to be a person that has insatiable thirst, like you would never get enough of learning, of growing, insatiable thirst for knowledge and improving how things are done. Like you forever are asking, whether it's in your business, and as an entrepreneur over the past, 2007, I've been an entrepreneur, but I've been in entrepreneurial and business context for much longer than that. What you need to know, what you need to forever do is, you create what you've created, you set something up, and then give yourself a bit of distance from it and ask yourself, how can I improve this? How can I make this better? I was just talking to you guys about, the master plan class is about to start on the 1st of August. It's going to be the last one that I'm teaching live. Why? Because I found a better way of doing it. What's a better way of doing it? is me pre-recording, having it set up. The downloads are there. The workbook is there. You're getting interactions, and only being there maybe to support monthly, right? Rather than showing up live each time. And in that time, I can go and do other things that are supposed to build me up towards where I need to go, that also will help me build the products, help me build the platform, help me build the market. So have this insatiable thirst to learn more and to learn how to improve, right? Now, coming from a culture, I don't know about you guys, but my context, is a socialist background, right? In my country, so you got what you got, and that was it. Like my kids say, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. Like one of their teachers used to say that. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. I literally remember pulling out, what was that? I remember taking out a cockroach from a Fanta. There was a time that they were, I don't know, it was like somebody's toenails or something crazy. At that time, guys, I'm talking about the 80s, right? Some of us, I was born in 1980. So I got to live out socialism in Tanzania. You're not taking that Fanta anywhere. You're not taking that drink anywhere. What are you going to complain about it? You get what you get. You don't get upset. And there are so many things. We get them until they completely fall apart. And that is what we expect, that you get a thing, it serves its purpose. If it doesn't, you put some wiring to hold it together. Like we're trying to piece things together. You get what you get, you don't get upset. And with that kind of mindset, well, you don't want to stretch to grow and know even more, especially with what I just shared, where people are like, you think you know better. This is the context we come from in many a times in African context. Oh, this is my business. Who are you to come up with these ideas of whatever? If I wanted, to get your opinion, I'd give it to you. So you're like, okay, I will just do what I need to do. And if you got that from upbringing, guys, from upbringing, you're told you get what you get, you don't get upset, be grateful for even what you get. You go in society, you buy something, it has a defect, or you get a service that is less than. There is no place for redress. What is your mind being told? You get what you get, you don't get upset. Be grateful you even get it. You get into a work context, whether it's your business, it's somebody else's organization, you're really just thinking, I get what I get. This is it. This will just have to work. I don't need to be any greater. I don't need to be any more. Nobody has ever rewarded that. Nobody's ever celebrated that. Nobody has ever really welcomed that. What has been welcomed is getting an A in my grades. That's what's been welcomed. So I remember once showing my dad my report card, and I had A's, and he says, do better next time. So I'm looking at my report card. I'm like, I guess I should have gotten more A pluses. That's doing better next time. And I guess to him that was motivation. I don't know. But I was like, all right, okay. And guys, I'm in love with my dad and always wanted to impress him. So I'm like, all right, do better. And that is the sum total of doing better in an African context. Get the grades. And so we want to get more certificates in the workplace. We want to do better with our certificates, but that's not what's been looked for. It's not your certificate that will solve the problem right now. It's you stretching yourself to want to know more, to want to know how to improve things. And improving things is rewarded. It is rewarded in the global competitive market to be a person that is always looking at something and saying, can we do it more efficiently? Can we do it in less time? Can we do it with less costs? Can we do it remotely? This is what's rewarded in a global context. Not just filing in line and doing whatever you're asked to do. That is not what's rewarded. Anybody from entry level to mid level can do that. When you come into senior leadership, you're not rewarded for doing your job. You're not rewarded because you have certification. You're not rewarded because you are a yes person. You're rewarded for wanting to improve the things, even if they're not yours, which is why I spoke about ownership and stewardship. And then the I in Agile from the World Economic Forum article is innovative thinking. Get this. Critical thinkers who analyze and investigate information systems. Critical thinkers who analyze and investigate information systematically to establish facts and solve problems. Now I'm going to bring back our upbringing. I'm going to bring back our socialization. I'm going to bring back our culture. You're supposed to stay in your role unless your role is to solve problems. I mean, think of even our government structures, and I understand the complexities of having large bureaucracies, there will be a lot of silos and cubicle type of mentality, but when you really interrogate, I remember there was a time I was helping a company that used to be a state-owned cement company to structure to work more like the market competitive company it is, because it was under a larger global, what is it called? Well, cement, right? Company. There was a lot of repetition in roles. There were many people doing little bits of the same thing. And they came in first thing in the morning and they left last thing at night. And there wasn't even motivation. There wasn't even any impetus to want to do more, because your job was going to be the same thing the next day. And it's just this little bit of responsibility you've given. And I don't know if at that time it was because, people should just get employed. And so you just got whatever it is you did. And I remember there were people in that organization in that company for 40 years and been there since independence. I actually worked for a company in Tanzania, another manufacturing company that had been there since independence. And a lot of the mindset and the culture was, I'm just going to do my bit. Not anymore. I mean, let me not stretch things. Let me not even try to be innovative. Let me not try to, because it's all written in. We're all doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's not my job to do that. It's somebody else's job to do that. And let me just do just enough for today, because I don't want to come in and just read the newspaper tomorrow. Something else is to come in tomorrow. And I know we're talking about a different generation right now, but I often say this. Just because you are born on this side, I mean, like I am probably an auntie to a bunch of you guys, right? Doesn't mean that you have not been raised by people who were raised at that time, which means that's their mindset. So you may not have been through socialism or whatever else, that you went through, from colonialism to independence to where you are now in your context in Africa, or as an African who is out in the diaspora. But you were exposed. A lot of the people that you looked up to, a lot of people that taught you, a lot of the people that, that modeled the way to think and the way to be in a work context, in a market context, went through that. And so it is so key. The very thing that we got, right, spanked for doing, and I'm just making that seem so nice because the spankings were not like this, were they? It was like a bow, whatever, like parents we got it. So whatever it is that we grew up with, which is, look, do this is what I asked you to do. Don't do anything else. I didn't ask you to do that. That's not your job. From the home to school to, society in general. Now you come into a work context. This is what's key. It is key for you in leadership, even if you're not at the very apex of leadership. You're not the big kahuna. You're not the one. It is important for you to understand it is on you to think critically. It is on you to think innovatively. It is on you to look at how to systematically, diagnose something and come up with solutions. You are supposed to. The word chambua came to me in Swahili. I don't know. Sometimes, guys, I think in a bunch of languages. But you're supposed to, really critically look at every single component part of what it is that your job requires, or what the organization is doing, what the department is doing. And then, look at how to improve it. Look at how to make it better. Look at how to solve challenges for colleagues. It is on you as a leader to do. There are situations where you're speaking to leaders and they want to refer you to the research and development team. I don't want to speak to R&D. Or they'll talk to you about the product development team, or they'll talk to you. No, you as a leader, whatever your role is, it could be human resources. You need to have that critical thinking, that innovative thinking, not just for your business, your area, and your processes, but generally for the business. So increasingly you see, for instance, again, human resources personnel taking Masters of Business Administration. Not so much for the HR component, but for the fact that you must have a 360 understanding of business. Okay, let me not belabor this point. So it is adaptability skills, A for adaptability, G for growth, I for innovative thinking, and L is for leadership. Now here, get this. Whatever level of leadership you find yourself in. Come now, let us talk. Please tell me if your input was welcome at whatever level you were at. There's some people who say, oh my goodness, I don't know how this happened, but we were raised in such an open, in such a collaborative, in such a welcoming, in such a respectful environment where there was no hierarchy. I mean, obviously you still respected your parents, etc., and your elders, but your contribution mattered. Like, we were really encouraged to be vocal, to have opinions, to bring solutions, but in most contexts, you're not. So here is leadership. It's like whatever level you're at. But what we're used to is no, not at whatever level. What we're used to in leadership is you start out, you're the dump, you're the place where, nobody really looks at, like everybody sends you, I remember doing this graduate program. And before that, a lot of graduates, when people come in for internships, hey Rehma, hi Rita, when people come in for their practical training, a lot of people were sent to buy chips, fries. A lot of people were just sitting there reading newspapers. A lot of people were even sent on errands, their supervisors' personal errands, because they didn't really take it seriously to groom them for the world of work. So it's mandatory with a lot of governments and a lot of institutions that organizations take youth and take people who are looking to get into the marketplace and help, socialize them, help orient them. But many a times people can't be bothered. They're like, you're low on the rung, you're just a kid, you're just whatever. And this is from the family level, the younger you are, and especially if you're a woman, and, especially if, think of context where you're not born of a chiefdom. You don't come from a chief family. You are just another family in the village that just went into town. But whenever you meet your chief cousins or chief clansmen, there isn't even an air of intimidation, and you're in the city like anybody else, and you're doing your thing like anybody else because of that socialization. Have you guys ever been in a context where you're watching your parents like this around other people, other adults? You're like, what is that? Like, why are they acting like that? There's a whole unsaid, now it's less said, before it was very, very in your face, context in which, there's a big chief, right? So you're thinking in a corporate context, in the marketplace, there's a big chief, and then there's the rest of us. So when somebody says lead from wherever you are, you're like, yeah, I will. Like, I know that person is a big chief. I will not step on their shoes. I will not try to step on their feet, step on their shoes, step in their shoes, step on their feet. I will not try to usurp their power, but you're not usurping their power. When leaders, hear me, when you have people on your team that want to think critically, people on your team that want to find ways of improving things for you, that is a blessing. Go home, get in your closet, pray and give thanks to God that you would have people on your team that are thinking the business, even if it is your business, that are thinking of improvements, that are thinking of cost cutting, that are thinking of efficiencies, even if it is not on them as the ultimate leader. So we find that those who are not in leadership are like, no, there's no such thing as leadership from any level. Leadership is at that top. If you're not at that top, you're not a leader. I am not at the top. I'm not a leader. And if you don't have that in you, if you're not thinking of leadership from whatever level, this is why you're not going to get opportunities. If you're waiting for somebody to tell you what to do daily, if you're waiting for somebody, you're not gonna troubleshoot, you're not gonna work at bringing solutions because you're waiting for them to come back from leave, to come back from town, to get off the phone, to whatever, to let you know, you're not gonna be ready for leadership. And then the other side of this double-edged sword is that those who are in leadership, African brothers and sisters who are in leadership, you are the CEO, you're the managing director, you're the executive director, whatever it is that you are, you're now, look, I am the chief now. Hello, I am the one on top. Okay? So I will let the rest of y'all know what time it is, what it is you do, whatever. Don't even try. Anybody takes any initiative to support that, and you say, I'm seeing you. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to take my seat. We get intimidated. All of a sudden we think those people who we asked to come on board with us, who left everything else they could have been doing to get on board with us, and now vying for our positions. And so either people are fired, people are mistreated, or people are really pushed to the point where they break and they're like, ha ha ha, I knew you weren't good for this context, and removed. Why? Because this is where we came from. But the competitive global market needs everybody at every level to think like a leader, to lead. And listen to this. I really like this. I mean, there was so much to that article, guys. Just go to that article yourself. It says, inspire colleagues, delegate, empower. There's a place that talks about coaching and mentoring others, and trust other colleagues with the business of your organization. Leaders that inspire colleagues, that make them want to come in day by day, that delegate to colleagues. You're the leader. You're delegating to colleagues. You're empowering, coaching, mentoring, entrusting. You are entrusting others. This is what leadership is about. It's not about you shining and looking good. My God, when this dawned on me, I understood it wasn't about me. Because I have had leadership capacity, potential my entire life. But there's a time I found out you're not meant to be the superstar. You're not meant to be the one. Your job is to equip those people who will go and do great things. Because at the end of the day, you're one person with 24 hours and only so much energy. How much can you do even if you can do it all? How much really will you be able to do before you fall apart or actually fall dead at the job? So leadership, let's understand, is about inspiring colleagues, delegating to them, empowering them, equipping them, and trusting them with the business of the organization. And now this is where, I don't know if you guys saw Vusi Tembakwayo's video about, the crab mentality, how he went into a context, he wanted to put this tech hub. Oh my goodness, you guys need to see that. So if you don't know him, Vusi Tembakwayo, how do I spell it? THEMBEKWAYO. He's South African, and I guess the most influential at the moment in terms of business. And he has this video talking about when he went to Venda, this community. I know Venda is a tribe and I know Venda is a language, but also he went to this community and he wanted to set up this tech hub. He was going to invest all the money himself, and it was going to be free for creatives, free for entrepreneurs, free for tech people to come in, to create, to curate, to think of great ideas, free laptops, free internet, free everything. He really just wanted to give that to that community. He wanted to have more competitive South African businesses, being developed. And he was sabotaged. He says he was sabotaged all the way. He was sabotaged by the community leaders who either welcome you or they do not, right? These are the stewards. We are the ones, the custodians. He was sabotaged, he says, by the legal system. He was sabotaged, including police and the judges, etc. And when he was talking about it, he's like, honestly, it was just an issue of this young man, this little, just what? He's just coming here like, no, he must respect. Can't just come here, you little young boy doing. And this is the context many of us grow in. And then you get to a global context, and the global context is Western, Asian, guys, let's be aware of this. You get in this context and people are like, take ownership. Please think critically. Let's make things happen. You're one person. You're not going to do all of this. Build your team. People are surprised when your team, isn't doing well. If you're always the one who speaks, you're always the one who has to check their work, you're always the one who presents, people are like, what on earth is going on here? Completely contrary to what we know. I want to give some of these comments. Remma says, public etiquette and socialization should be taught in all schools. I'm telling you, my sis. Leadership isn't about the position or the title. Leadership is like a candle. One can light many without losing its glow. I like that. Without losing its glow. Together they create better heat and more light. That's right. And we need to learn this, but this wasn't socialized in us. We didn't know this. There's another comment here. I want to capture this. Kenny Jeffrey says, I'm really facing that stewardship problem as child running family business where parents put their opinions first. It hurts the business. It does. I even think of quitting. How do you deal with that, Modesta? Oh, this is a good one. Did you guys hear that? So he is in charge of a family business, but then the business isn't being run by a business. The business is being run by, what do the parents say? And because we are the parents, and so you listen to us. And this gentleman right here could have all the business skills, the leadership potential. He understands the context. He understands the market. But we come back to socialization. We come back to, please understand hierarchy, where you stay, and it's hurting the business. Kenny, I'm gonna come back to that in a little bit. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I want to go to on Agile from the World Economic Forum article. The Agile is emotional. Sorry, the E in Agile is emotional intelligence. The more team members work well in teams, the greater the organization. This is the rationale of emotional intelligence. The more team members work well in teams, the greater the organization. Manage our emotions, navigate political dynamics to achieve shared goals, and the ability to anticipate and respond to customers' needs. Emotional intelligence is you understanding. Well, first of all, we just came from leadership, right? I am not going to do this on my own. Even if I could, I would burn out. And that would absolutely sabotage the organization if I were to do this on my own. But emotional intelligence goes an extra mile and just says, you're not just putting people, asking people to come along with you. You're going to so manage self. Oh my goodness. Anybody who knows me knows that this is a work for me. So manage self that every thought, word, action towards not just in governing self, but even towards others and towards the business is to meet shared goals, is to get it to the expected end. Never forget, when I get to contexts where people now, they feel like there is tension, what do I do about it? I ask people to never forget what got you there in the first place. You arrived there to meet specific objectives. You have goals. There is an end game to this. And when people meet, and of course we have all kinds of differences. We will have upbringing differences. We will have, you're going to be different with your own siblings. Forget about, being different from somebody you meet in a work context. We have gender differences. We have religious differences. We have all kinds of differences that we bring in a work context. And it is on you. I was writing out the values from Odessa.Africa. And one of the things that I wrote, that your thoughts, your words, your actions, your behaviors, they're your responsibility. So it is on you to grow, to stretch yourself, to grow, so that you can be the person you need to become to move this endeavor forward. Emotional intelligence says, I am a steward. I happen to come here in this time for this, finite time to build something. And so in this time, I need to make sure everything about me is helping the cause move forward. I'm not here to size up other people. I'm not here to show other people where they are, related to me. I'm not here to look out for who else is trying to do what. That's none of my business. I must. And I remember the scripture that says that as long as it is up to you, seek peace and keep the peace. As long as it is up to you, do your utmost to seek peace, to keep peace, so that you can together work towards the common goals, the shared objectives that brought you here in the first place. We need to remember this. There is no room for egos in the marketplace. Not if you want to be competitive, not if you want to be in it for the long haul, which is my 7th point. I told you I'll start with my own, which was ownership, stewardship, and I will put the World Economic Forum article, Agile, adaptability, skills, growth mindset, innovative thinking, leadership, and what's the E? Emotional intelligence. And then now I want to share mine, and that is long haul and legacy. And basically what I'm saying is you need to be in this for a long time as a leader. You need to understand when people entrust you with leadership, they're not looking, they didn't bring you in because you're a superstar. People are not looking for a superstar. They're not looking for PR stunts, even if your role is PR. They're really looking for people who already understand that they're disciplined, they already understand the professional field, they already understand the market, they've had experience with the technical, technical know-how, they've grown on the job, they have the maturity. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for the maturity of somebody who would come in as a responsible steward, first stewarding self, stewarding others, stewarding resources, stewarding processes, towards the objective for which they were recruited, towards the objective for which they were promoted, towards the objective for which people would say that they want to do business with you. They don't want to do business with some erratic person that is all full of themselves. No, they want to do business with a person that they can trust themselves, their business, their colleagues to. That means we need to have the maturity to understand we're going to be in this for the long haul. But even if I'm not going to be here forever, my legacy should be. People coming after you should say, my goodness, they left such a great job. They moved this organization from where it was and it grew to where it needed to be. And that's the kind of legacy I want to inherit, and that's the kind of legacy I too want to pass on. If it's not you who needs to be in it for the long haul at that organization, you still need to be in it for the long haul in that market. You're ruined at one place, that's your reputation, that's your personal brand going out. You keep doing that, and you're just going to be a one-hit wonder, and at some point somebody will say it's not worth it. You're really good at what you do, but your attitude, your approach, the way you look down on other people, it is not worth having you on this team. It is not worth having you, entrusting you with this vision, entrusting you, with this mandate. And so have that in mind. That even if it's not mine, I must have an ownership mentality. And I must steward it in such a way that it meets its goals or even surpasses them. I must steward it in such a way that I equip other people to do the best they can, because I will never do it as one person. This thing will have to be done as a team effort. And even if I'm not going to be here forever, this thing should outlive me, and it should outlive me with a positive note, with a positive outlook, with a positive legacy. And many of these things we're not prepared for in our culture. We are seldom heard, seldom have our opinions, welcome. We often have to wait our turn. You remember that book? Now it's Our Time to Eat. And my Kenyan brothers and sisters, you say this. There's been some serious tribalism with people saying, and now I don't know about current context, but I'm going back to, there was a time where people were saying a certain tribe prevails in leadership, prevails in government, prevails in decision making over the nation, prevails in business, and now it is our time to eat. As if we cannot all lead and grow together, that there has to be a handing over or a grabbing of this crab mentality that Vusi was talking about in his video, that instead of thinking, oh wow, they're making cars now, I wonder maybe I could make tires to complement the cars. Instead you're like, the opportunity has been taken. So now you're looking at your African brother or sister like, who is she? She got it. How do I bring it down? Or you're the person with the opportunity. You're looking at everybody else like, don't even try to get close because I'm on this seat now. Lest you come in and take my thing. So short-sighted. Yet these are the very skills, the very things we may not feel comfortable doing, the very things that your heart might, palpitate a little bit more when you're asked to take on things that you feel like, I didn't go to school for this. Do you know how many people who I coach who have this hang up, but I didn't study this modesta? I am now in leadership, because you guys know I'm an executive leadership coach. I'm now in leadership, but I didn't study. There is somebody who has gone back to school. She already has a master's degree. She's going to get another master's degree in a different field because she believed that she would not be able to lead well. She believed that her subordinates would sabotage her, would look down on her, because she didn't have the very specific master's degree for the very specific promotion she just got. And do you know what happened? After a while, her reportees, her subordinates, I guess I can use that word, I prefer reportees, started to look at her that way. And it wasn't because she was less. Guys, she is so capable. It was because she saw herself like that, and she led apologetically. She led unsure. She led, Mulu's like, hi, nakupenda sana kwa sababu una upendo kuinua watu bila kinyongo. I love you, thank you. She's like, oh, thank you so much. I love it because you love lifting other people. Like, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, guys, this is what I live to do. I mean, there's a time I wanted to say, people, you're not my competition. You're my project. Leaders are not my competition. You're my assignment. I'm not intimidated when other people flourish. I'm not intimidated when other people are doing well. Even if they're doing well at opportunities that I wish I had and I don't. The more of us do well, Africa, get this. The more of us get into positions of strategic leadership and influence, the higher up we're all going to go as a continent. So it is in my vested interest to make sure African leaders thrive. It is in my vested interest to make sure you shine. You don't intimidate me when you do well. Even if you now grab the thing that I wish so hard that I had. I am happy that you have it, because when you do well, that's Africa on the map. Anyway, back to this lady. So even with all the coaching and the conversation, she still had this hang up that I need to go back to school. And then her colleagues, her supporters started saying, you don't have what it takes. We can see that. You're not even certified in this. And one of them started outright sabotaging her because he felt like he was the natural heir, that he was the next on the throne for this department. And it was, it's a government department. He should have been the person on there because he had all the certificates. Huh? He felt that he had all the certificates, so naturally it should have been him and not this woman who didn't have all the certificates as he thought she should. By the way, she did. Her first degree was in that area. It's just her master's degree wasn't in that. It was like generally MBA. But now she's going to do a master's in specifically that area because of how she sees this. So I want to say this to you as I end this video. If you feel intimidated to have an ownership mentality when you think about this thing is not mine, like who am I to have ownership? This is what the competitive global market is looking for. And when you think like the owner, when you think the business, you're more likely to make decisions that benefit the business than sitting in your silo and just doing what's in your job description. You're a leader. It is not enough for you to just do your job. You're supposed to see 360. You're supposed to look at everything, every area that concerns this business and make sure it's moving well. You're supposed to cover your colleagues, yet have candid conversations with them. If they're in another department and what they're doing is going to sabotage progress, or it's getting in the way, you can offer your help in another area simply not because you want to butt into people's things or you want to show them up. No, because you understand the strength of your colleague is the strength of the team, is the strength of the organization. If you have been feeling intimidated about being a critical thinker or pointing out areas of improvement, please start embracing this. It is key that you do this, because there are contexts where now the leader will say, the de facto leader, the de jure leader who's sitting in the position, right? They'll say, but guys, that was quite obvious. Like, why didn't anybody do this? Why did people wait for me? Now we've lost money. Now we've lost the contract. Now, we've had this damage, which is going to take us another quarter to fix. People, you are here. If this was your home, and I'm sure you guys have heard this context, if this was your home, wouldn't you do something about it? You just let this thing fall away? So get used to thinking like a steward, like an owner. Get used to being adaptable, regardless of what comes. Don't say, this is not what I signed up for, or this is looking shaky. Man up, woman up. Come rain or shine. Get yourself in a position where you're going to be a problem solver. Think of having a growth mindset, that what I know is not enough, and that's okay, because I can grow. It doesn't mean it's not enough, so I should cower. It doesn't mean it's not enough, so I should leave. It doesn't mean it's not enough, so I'm leaving it to other people. No, it just means that I understand I will be required to grow. That what is constant in life is change, and therefore, what is coming, I don't know. I may not be equipped for right now, but I can find out. To be a person that has this insatiable thirst for knowledge and for improving things, right? And then being innovative. Thinking outside the box, thinking of other ways of doing things. How can we do this in less time? I can do this with less money. How can do it and still have the same results, by the way? How can I do this and be more efficient? to being, a type of person that does that. And then leadership, understanding that you're one person, 24 hours, only so much you can do, and you have a family at home. Come on. So how can you equip, how can you empower, and how can you entrust other people with the business of your organization so that you can do just what you need to do? And most of the times, that is leading well. That is interacting well with people. That is understanding the political context in which you're in and being able to successfully navigate them. That is anticipating customers' needs and thinking of not just how to improve what you have, but what else that they may need that would serve them best. This is what you're called to. And then you manage yourself the entire time, because you will knock heads. Because there will be contexts, there will be situations that are tense, but you're a leader. It's your job to learn how to govern self, how to govern interactions, and how to steward what you've been given. Understand you're in it for the long haul, and you want to leave a legacy. Have your leadership stay in posterity even long after you've left. Now, Kenny, let's tackle this question that you have. I'm really facing stewardship problem as a child running a family business. Just right there, the fact that you called yourself a child, Kenny, right there, you're already saying I am less than. Of course, we all understand that our parents, they're older than us. They've taken care of us. And often, with age comes wisdom, right? And so we also expect this sometimes with age, that the older people are, the wiser they are. It's not always so, but let that not shock us. I don't want you, or I'm asking you, not to think of yourself, Kenny, as a child. So you're saying, I'm really facing this stewardship problem as a child running a family business where parents put their opinions first. It hurts the business. I'm even thinking of quitting. How do you deal with this, Modesta? So let's address this right now. Welcome, Anthony. Welcome, David. Welcome, Mahmoud Capo. Come on. All right, let's address this, Kenny. First of all, before you can move anything externally, before you can influence anything externally, before you can prove anything, you must have that settled in yourself, right? So you must already see yourself as capable of running this business. So Kenny, do you see yourself as capable? Did you just take on this business because that's what you do in a family context? A child comes in and takes the business. Is this something you signed up for? Is this something you were forced to do? I would like to find out from you whether you do have this ownership, stewardship mentality, because that then, Kenny, will help you in this context where you're running a family business and your parents keep coming in and you see that it's hurting the business. And we're at this juncture where you're saying, Modesta, should I quit? And what do I do? So I just want to start with you before we talk about your parents and we talk about the business. Kenny, do you feel that you have ownership of this business? And I don't mean that you're the person with the name on the certificate. It could well still be your parents. Welcome, Rakesh. It could still well be your parents. But I want to know if you feel up to it. Did you sign up to this? Are you interested in this? Were you just told, we're getting older now, or we're going to do other things, or we want to start getting you involved in the family business and you're in? Because that will make or break your success as well. If you're not in it, or if you are interested but you feel that I don't really feel like I have ownership, if maybe by virtue of the fact that they keep butting in, for lack of a better word, they keep making decisions from just their thoughts and their will, as opposed to what actually will develop the business and move it forward. If that has gotten you to a place where you've checked out, because that actually happens in leadership. That happens in a lot of contexts where a team has come together, but there's this one person who's taking over everything, that a team effort is made, and then somebody comes with a vetoing vote. Somebody comes in and acts as if everything else the wider team has done, it means nothing. That can take a lot of steam. That can take a lot of heart out of someone. So I want you to check within where you are right now. Do you feel ownership? When you're doing this business, do you feel, and if not ownership, if ownership makes you feel like the person who has their name on the title deed or on the business registration, I want you to think, do you sense stewardship? That I know I'm entrusted with something, that I want to leave better than I found it, that I want to grow, that I want to see progress, that I want to see as, as a legacy project that even us as the children will be able to hand over to our children. So that's the first thing I'll ask you to check with yourself, if you sense ownership. The second thing is, was it made very clear what it is you are supposed to do? So this is the thing. There are times that we have these unsaid expectations of people. Now, this could be the parents to you in the business. And there's also, on the other side, that you accept a thing out of excitement, maybe out of awe, out of just the overwhelm of being entrusted with something. You sign up to something you don't fully understand, and you kind of wing it on the way. I would like you to take this first step, and I don't know how long you've been in your family business with your parents, Kenny, but I would like you to write down what you understand, not only your role in the business to be, but what you understand of that business goals. What is your parents' will? What is it that they're looking to achieve? What is it that your parents are looking to advance? So if it's going to be income goals for the business, right, the revenues you're supposed to bring in, if it's going to be developing the business in terms of whether it's products, whether it's the organization, whether it's people, I want you to find out, and do this yourself first before you speak to your parents. Are you clear about what you have been entrusted with? Are you clear about what this business is, where it is right now? Do you have the books? Do you understand clearly financially where it is? Do you understand who it's out to, who its customers are? Do you understand, the entire value chain of your business? Who are the other stakeholders that are involved in your business? Do you then also know what your parents' expectations are? Are there certain income goals? Are there certain management goals? Are there processes? Is there equipment and resources and people you're meant to manage? And what are the expectations of you? If you are not clear because you didn't get it from them, you're in the business right now. I would recommend, because you're now meant to be leading this business, although they keep chipping in, right? They keep coming in with their ideas. I would recommend you write down what you understand your role to be. Write down what you understand they're asking you to do, what you understand as the business goals and even the business needs that you should set goals towards. Have that very clear to you. Because get this, just in case this was not communicated, that what is expected of you, how they expect the business to grow, how they expect the business to develop, what kind of revenues you're supposed to bring in, just in case that wasn't made clear, you could be in a situation where they have unsaid expectations of you and you didn't get the memo. You're doing the best that you can with what your unsaid understanding is of what they unsaid expect of you. And they're watching you, and in the situation where they feel like, no, Kenny's not doing what we want, they jump in. And after all, they got it to where they got it, Kenny. You got to give them that. Your parents got the business to where they got it. But of course, what do we know? What got you here will not get you there. So what got the business here may not get it there, but this may be the first time you're coming in with an open book to have a conversation about expectations. And you can say, so this, I understand this business to be this. I took it over this time. This is how much revenue is bringing in. This is how many people were on the team. This is what we're paying in terms of salaries. This is what, these are the other overheads that we had. We, at that time, had these clients, and these were our suppliers, and this is how we distributed, and I don't know what, the business is. This is how, we got to market, and this is how we did year 1, year 2, year 3. You can mention that. Now, what I am sensing is, this is where we are. This business can potentially do this moving forward. and to do it efficiently in this way. But then this would have to be the goals. This will have to be, the organizational restructuring or development. This is how we need to reach clients. This customer you've had for many years, and I know they're your friend, but they never pay, or they don't pay on time, or they don't pay in full, or whatever, and they're so fired, we actually spend more money servicing them as a client than we're getting business. I mean, just think of everything that you are seeing, Kenny, because for you to ask me, Modesta, my parents keep coming in on this business and it is hurting the business. The fact that you can say that what they're doing is hurting the business, it means you have an understanding of what the business needs to thrive. Because you just mentioned to me, you know what the business is going through and it is hurting it. So why don't you then, coming in, of course, emotional intelligence, we're just talking about that, coming in with the spirit, with the heart to move things forward, with the heart of a steward who says, you entrusted me with this. I want to grow it several times over, and I am seeing this as what is required to get there. Just start with that piece, that element of getting clarity of what the business is, what it does, who it serves, the stakeholders that surround it, how much it was making, how much it is making now, potentially what it can do, how much better it can do, and what needs to be aligned. People, processes, it could be investments that you need to make, what needs to be aligned to get it there. That's the initial conversation. And then now, to mitigate against this just interruption when you're in motion and you're doing something and you have somebody coming in, what you can do is you can set up reporting timelines. So for instance, you say, so this is what we're going to do by this, and you're having a conversation, right? Would this work for you that we do? And okay, you've agreed. So you're going to give weekly reports, or you're going to make quarterly presentations, or whatever it is. Get on the front end of this. And in a way, you're saying, Mom and Dad, please butt out. What you're doing is hurting the business. You keep interrupting. I've had conversations with people. I am doing this with clients. You're coming in and you're saying a different thing, and it's not working well for the business. If you're not comfortable to say that, because some of us are comfortable to say what you're doing is compromising this thing. We cannot move this way. But if you're not comfortable to do that, I understand the context in which you come from, in an African context. I mean, I don't want any family curses on you, my friend. So what you can, and guys, just please take what I say with it. Just don't take too seriously these comments that I make, but please do understand, I have an appreciation of our culture, and I know just how dire it can be to step out of the position that you're supposed to be in as a child, as a business person, as an employee. I understand the context we're in. It's very hierarchical, and it does sabotage a lot of great efforts that people are making. Going back to Kenny. By Kenny mentioning what you will report on, when you will report, also mentioning that you would like their feedback on very specific areas, and by when you want that feedback. Is it that you guys are going to get together every Friday and you're presenting how the business has done, and they give you their input as you're sitting together? Because then that avoids them Monday to Friday morning coming in. You've scheduled Friday to sit together with your parents about that. Is it that you will do these monthly reconciliations and show them how the business is doing? Is it that you propose something new and you're going to keep them abreast as to how it's doing? By getting to the front end of this business, by communicating to them what you understand this business is doing, where you understand they want to take it, and what your role is, by getting to the front end of saying, now this is what I'm going to go out to do, is that okay with you? And having a discussion so that they still feel ownership, that our son isn't taking this and just running with it. By also saying, I will be reporting to you periodically on these things, agreeing. Maybe your parents don't want a PowerPoint presentation. Maybe they don't appreciate things like that. They want to have a conversation with you. So you come in with the books. Maybe you're coming in with the books. You printed out some things, or things are written down, and you're having a conversation. You can schedule this ahead of time, and you can say what it is that you're going to speak about, and lead the conversation, because you're the one who's running the business right now, on what input you need from them. That may assuage their fears of, is he going to run it the way, and get this, it's not going to be, is he going to run the way it should be run? They're thinking, is he going to run it the way we ran it? Can he get it, to do what we got it to do? And just because that worked then doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work going forward. It doesn't mean it won't. And it's not guaranteed that that's what the business needs moving forward. And the fact that they've entrusted it to you, and you may have exposure to other things that will enhance the business that they may not be privy to, ease them into that by getting on the front end, by making, getting the clarity on expectations, clarity on roles, clarity on business goals, and also how you're going to report, what you will report on, and making sure that they then feel comfortable, that you understand, you get their heart, right? They've given you their baby. Yes, you are their son, but they've given you their baby. They've given you their business. You get their heart, for the business. They see this because you presented it very clearly. They will see that you're looking forward. You want to grow this business. You understand what surrounds this business, what it requires for the business, to move forward. And you come in. You've taken the initiative to come in to report thoroughly, and in the reporting during those sessions to have the conversations. Those sessions to you, Kenny, will be the times when you iron out any issues. If there's any issues they have about anything you are doing with the business, or how the business has been run, or customers been treated, etc., these sessions that you have with them should be the sessions that is aired out. And after that, they let you do what you need to do until the next time you come in to report. And I think if you started with those, the clarity piece and the setting expectations on reporting, and being able to actually do that consistently, you will find that there is less interruption. I pray so, and less. Let me see. Because what I'm sensing is that your parents wonder if you will be able to continue what they had, or maybe they think they know better, which means they might question your capacity. So it is for you as the leader to rise up to that. It is you as a leader, as I've spoken and shared today, to get ahead of that, to think ahead, to think critically, to build a relationship with them, but also show very clearly that you understand the mandate you've been given, that you take this as a stewardship opportunity, and this is how you're stewarding the business, and you'll keep them informed. And I think you will actually see less interruption. Short of that, you will continue getting frustrated, and this will bring tension between you and your parents. But I am guessing if it's up to this point, then there's a level of lack of clarity, unset expectations there, and maybe there, you haven't actually scheduled in, finding a way to manage reporting back to them and getting feedback from them. And these two will go a long way to easing your relationship, but also their involvement in a business they have already entrusted you with. Ladies and gentlemen, my African brothers and sisters, African market leaders, I am done. I'm going to go out and just have fun with my family right now. Thank you so much for all those that showed up on this live broadcast. Thank you for your comments, for your inputs. Let's continue having these conversations. The higher up you go in leadership, the less is going to be about your certificates. So let's learn what it is going to be about, and the less it is about being the superstar. Ooh, no. The fact that you got A's, the fact that you came first, the fact that no longer matters. The fact that you got a GPA of 4. That all of a sudden doesn't matter as much in leadership. Let's learn what it does, because we are now in a global context. It is global competition that we're facing. Even if you're still in your city and in your African country, we need to find out what it takes to thrive in leadership beyond the certificate. Much love. Enjoy your weekend, and let's catch up, guys. If you want to connect with me, like Kenny just shared an issue that he has in his context, please go to Modesta at modesta.africa. So that's my new email, modesta at modesta.africa. You can send me an email, but if you want a session with me, I actually want to have a strategy session with you, Modesta, you can book a discovery call with me. So if you're on Instagram, go on my profile and you can see there's a link to booking my discovery call with me. If you're on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter, please go to modesta.africa and you will see absolutely everywhere how you can book a discovery call with me. I look forward to speaking with you. And for those leaders that are ready to absolutely transform their leadership, their impact, their income, their level in career and business, the master plan class is now open for registration. This is the very last master plan class that I am hosting live. Thereafter, the master plan class will come in a box. It will be online. So if you want a journey with me, it's 10 weeks of transformation, going from discovering who you are, why you're here, your non-negotiable values, making sure that you're prioritizing in your work and life only that which really brings meaning, that which advances you, and setting a 12-month plan to go after a big, hairy, audacious goal that you had been just deferring year after year after year, really hitting that goal in the next 12 months. The master plan class is 10 weeks. It gives you a 12-month plan to fulfill a goal that will set you up for the rest of your life, right? 10 weeks with Modesta, giving you a 12-month plan that you're going to see the impact of for the rest of your life. If you want to do that and learn how you can do that in an authentic way, how you can do that and position yourself, distinguish yourself in your marketplace, distinguish your brand, and make sure that you're in it for the long haul. Make sure that you do not burn out halfway through. Build those support systems around you so that you can succeed at your leadership and succeed as a person at home and at work. Please go to purposeandexcellence.africa/masterplan. Instagram, you've got this on the link. I've got like all these links to all the different products and services that I offer. Those on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn. It is purposeandexcellence.africa/masterplan. I'm going to put that link on this video as well. I cannot wait to walk with you. We've had 100+ African leaders that have joined us on the master plan class. Oh, and African American. People of African descent. Let me just put it that way. I'm speaking to people of African descent. It is a phenomenal program. You can see testimonials on the website, on modesta.africa, on purposeandexcellence.africa. You can see testimonials on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's been an amazing journey that's transformed my life from the inside out too. Looking forward to hosting you. Want to learn more about that? Go to email me on modesta@modesta.africa. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Much love. Bye. Oops. This is me ending my feed, my broadcast. Where is it? That was so bizarre. Guys.